school that is like the state.
Professor Small going into.
I was with a group that had taken over the state office building site. But I wasn't Professor Small. You don't really know who I am. So let me tell you who I am. I'm Al-Hajj Amin Shahid. When Malcolm X got assassinated, I became the Imam at age 21 over that month. That's how I knew Allah. I was the OAAU's face in Harlem. I was with them that night of Dr. King's assassination, walking through the streets. Basil Patterson, Tony Spencer, myself, Charlie Rangel, Father, Mayor Lindsay, David Opp, all of those people. I was a young man. So I know what the fight is to know how to be God again. See, sometimes we forget what we're supposed to be doing. Why did he bring us the lessons in the first place? Somebody removed you from being God, and he gave you the pathway to become God again, and then exercise your godhood over this planet. But people are afraid. You were talking about the cowards in the field. And I'm almost 78 now, so I've been at this since a little boy. But I'm just honored to be here because this parliament is one of the most democratic process in the black struggle in America. Because everywhere else, all these organizations, they got a small group of hegemony making decisions, and the people don't have a clue why they're making the decision. You're keeping the parliament and allowing the gods and earth to make their own decisions is one of the oldest process in the history of the world. So I'm just honored to be here. Yes, I knew the father. We weren't intimate friends. We were soldiers in a revolution. And so we knew each other in the streets, you know. And yes, I was honored to be with his spirit that night. And we were sitting there. Nobody knew that the next morning we would get that word that we got when we woke up. But it's you were demonstrating. He knew what time is. And he knew he had done his work. See how these people control us? They tell you they can kill you. And then they make you afraid to die. The only way out of this body is to die. And no one knows the instance unless you're smart enough to understand the end of your mission. Okay? So, peace God, peace earth. Let me just mention one other thing. I've been to that place in the east called Mecca twice. It is not our home anymore. This is Mecca. Mecca is what you created.
Tomorrow is mine from Maris. I want to add on from what was being said by my brother, beloved brother, Shabu'Allah. I'm part of one of the groups that was being spoke about. And I just want to bring a little more clarity from my perspective and my involvement. Right? One, when we talking about in the name of Allah, that's like a real super big job. All right? That's not like no small undertaking, because that's dealing with all of us, right? Not just your individual, what you, your family, you know, and all of that, which is a responsibility, and the same mathematics and alphabets and lessons apply with that. Yet, when we talk about the nation as a whole, we talk about a whole lot of other people that was inspired to this in their own what? Way. And what was inspiring to them. And then they embraced it and doing the best of what they can. Now, I've been around for a little bit, so I do have earned the right to say about stuff. Some people, they want to, try to pass a we're not judge not, let's leave judge by works of deeds and all of that there. Okay, that means that you got to be in the struggle. If you're going to put that as a means, all right? And just another thing I just want to say. A lot of people talk about what Allah said and don't even know Allah. And I've been saying this for a while, Why not talk about the people that introduced you and how they impacted you? Instead of talking about what Allah said or Allah did when He wasn't there. That's really disingenuous. All right? Yeah, we co-sign, we let it go, we say, but y'all still carrying that BS alone. He wasn't there. You don't know exactly what you said. If you repeated something that was said, then clarify it in a proper way. Meaning, who told me about what was said? All right? Because we deal with what? Actual facts. All right?
Or go to the video.
Well, the video can they can tap and stream.
I'm telling
They
you,
can,
all
okay,
people
so God,
see the
listen, Shabu, you spoke very well, as you always do. However, I did not interrupt you.
I won't interrupt you.
Thank you. So as I continue, adding on in that the significant contribution is how it touched your life in that person. That's powerful. All right? We all have the litmus test. There are still those amongst us, and they right here in the auditorium now that know more about the cologne or the texture of his hair than the most of us in here. So if we really need to know that, we can go ask them. Stand on what you build, and what you talk about, and what you tell the people. All right? For real. We're in a wisdom knowledge century. That means the time of the unalike man. Because we go what? According to year, month, and day. So the 21st degree is dealing with the unalike man. Yet he was our child. And that comes from the A-like man, meaning the 1A. The original. A, Allah. That's what we stand on. Not the dear month day of the other equality, which brings me to the only confusion is amongst the confused. The only division is amongst those that is divided. If you one with the one, then no matter what you're working on it to show and prove about being one with the one. Meaning 1A, meaning the best of what you can do according to your what? Ability. God given. This little light of mine, I'm going to make it shine. Chop it up like you wanna. That's what it is. Now, concerning the 5 gods that I'm involved with, the other 4, one, let me go back a step. There has been much controversy. This is a little statement here. Much controversy about Allah's 5%, some know as nation of God on earth. When it comes to money and doing things, this is in-house talk. This family talk here. All right? So we, mixed companies. So we don't have to use certain type of words, but we've been mismanaging money for a while as a group. And we have had some great successes. And we have had some, all right? Let's be for real about this here. Right? Grown people, grown folks conversation. We want to do some stuff to help. All right, let's stand on that. Not we want to steal, not we want to get good attention, we want our face on the streaming site or the magazine or whatever that it is. You know, that carpetbagging, glory-seeking type of mentality that exists amongst us. Understand and understood. If you got it, you see it. You don't, you don't. It is what it is. It's about knowledge and understanding, not knowledge and wisdom. Because a lot of folks deal with literal interpretation. If that's all you got, you're missing the boat. For real, for real. You gotta deal with understanding, not just knowledge and wisdom. So that's why we have some, you know, differences. So let's stay right in what we're talking about here. So, that presentation, yes, okay, the brother's name was mentioned, beloved. All right, there is some concern because of what happened in the past. This is wisdom year. We are rooted in a mathematical order, best known, no worse, in season, that can stand the check. So where am I going with this? One, we not rocking with nobody that doesn't know the business. Whether it's tying shoelaces, building buildings, inspecting, raising money, whatever that is. We not going by, I know the lessons and I talk real well. We going by, do you do this profession? How do you know about this? And what qualifies you to say that I can speak on this particular job, industry, task, whatever? That's one thing. All right, what we deal with. Of course, you must be rooted in these teachings. And in being rooted in these teachings, like how some used to say, who can vouch for you? Or, can you stand and check? What have you been doing over time in relation to this? That's what we want to know. So in other words, the Rudy Poop, the riffraff, the fly-by-night that was here for 20 years and then went away for another 20, now they back and everybody's going to say, oh, well, where you been? So happy. Let's get keys to the kingdom. No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that as far as that group that was before you. Everybody stands a check. And if you can't stand a check, then why can you hear you? All right? So, what are we talking about in real time? We talking about character, we talking about integrity. That's what we dealing with. So we ain't dealing with tribalism, we not dealing with division, we not dealing with misrepresentation, we dealing with a mathematical order, 1 to 9. So where is the knowledge and rooted to what? We about the young, we about education. So the common and the greater good for the community. If those 3 ingredients are not present, we not dealing with it. So don't get it messed up and try to refer to what is when you go to the source. So that's why I'm speaking, to let you know how we are working. And yes, we have plenty jobs and plenty things to contribute to, meaning us as a nation. So whatever you pick to support, then you should. Because it's about the militia. It's about volunteerism. It's about much is given, so much is required. So if you don't have a job other than the 18th degree, then you should ask somebody and you can find one, and we'll help you find one. Because there's a lot of great building going on across the nation and outside the country, and people that come in this name.
That's true.
So therefore, the add-on should already be in the front of your mind. Yet we're dealing with a very special location. National headquarters, yes. But before we started saying that, it was something else. To people that are still living here. Safe haven. There was a time when there was no lock on the door.
Most of the people that are in here don't know about that. But yet and still they know so much about Allah. Okay. Anyway, as I continue. So, with this here, we not playing about who's who, uncovering what, and it must stand a test. So we not being duped or fooled or interorientated or given a different language or any of these things that are in our lessons to say could come in front of us when we dealing with society of men and group of men. Right? Does say that, right? And that people had a system, as I mentioned earlier. It's a wisdom, knowledge thing. So everything is behind backwards. We have to be rooted in the knowledge and wisdom to gain the proper understanding. Not the wisdom before the knowledge. So when you talk about that group that made that presentation, they're not dealing with none of that. So everything must go from 1 to 9. And yes, as the guy said, there are steps and stages to all of that. And the brother asked a question about the deed and the lease and so forth. That requires people that are in the know, in the know about real estate in the city and the legalities. So therefore, now that we were told by someone that was there with the process, David off, that the city would support a transfer of deed, meaning ownership for us, and with the opportunity to figure out, please understand this, to figure out what we would like to do with the property, if anything at all. And that's why these seats, as they were so graciously provided for us through the principle of 92, need to be filled if you have so much concern about what is going on. Because this is our forum for discussing nation affairs. That group is not doing any decision making to say the nation is doing this. We are fact finding and showing how it can be done and putting everything in step and in place so that when the green light, if it's given, we rockin', baby. We rockin'. Why? Because an upgrade is needed. Though it must be done not just with good intentions as before, it must be done as it's being done now, right and exact. So that means that if it ain't dealing with no young, wrong answer. If it ain't dealing with education, wrong answer. If it ain't dealing with community improvement, wrong answer. So all of those things are intangible ingredients to the decision making. Did we meet with the deputy mayor office? Yes, we did. And what was the reason why? Because we wanted to reestablish the relationship with the mayor's office that Allah had. And that is what they asked for. We asked for. And that's what we were granted. Are we ready to run down to the mayor's office and say we want this, do this? No, we are not. Because as you can hear, we have already begun to discuss different aspects on what needs to happen. So we're not going in front of no one divided. We are a house together. We just need to draw it all up. Because we got the mathematics. And we're going to put it to the test with the mathematics. Not just the arithmetic, but the mathematics. And if you stand the test, then we move forward. If not, then you humbly step back and understand that this is what runs our house. Mathematical order. Not time is this, that, done, whatever. Universal, so we can talk about any kind of world that the God's been in and probably mastered. But we talk about the education. We talk about 21, 22. And it only can be right and exact. And it can only be about the young. It can only be about education. It can only be about helping the community grow. All that other glory-seeking stuff and fresh ideas and all of that kind of stuff, they're good. Good with that. For real, for real. Because like I said, it's not just mathematical order, it's also in season. And if you are trying to sow seeds of division and separation, and we can't get along, and we're not intelligent enough to come to a mature decision that is going to impact generations, then you need to get to step. Because you're not about good equality. You're about bad equality. And that's going to be surface because we're going to teach above it. We're dealing with supreme mathematics here. So in closing, I want y'all to understand clearly that no. Whatever happened before with them brothers that was dealing with a particular plan because Beloved had an inroads being an engineer, working for somebody. Now he has his own company with another construction firm. He got a piece. He's the best knower about that. He is not running our meetings. We all have a buy-in with the meeting. And we are not disagreeable, though we disagree. And if we disagree, then that particular issue or thing does not move forward. That's how we are working. Because we dealing with arm, leg, arm, head. And we know that of us five, anyone can take the position. And that's how on the collective we must view this. So no, because projects are going on in places and there has been success to support that, continue on. Yet when the bugle is blown to say that, boom, put your project up. How much it costs? What's the deal? Who's the reputable firm that came up with the design from your mind and all of this? Put it up there so that we can put them all on the table and say this is this and this is that. And then we make that intelligent decision and say, well then, we have raised this, we can finance this, we can protect this, and we go forward with this. Not just, oh, we like what they say, he was here, these brothers speak well, they got money, they got influence, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, it's a mathematical order. Excuse me. It's a mathematical order. So therefore, it got to go from knowledge to born, and from the born back to knowledge, for the knowledge of the cipher to add. It's a living science of 1 to 9, though the mathematical application is for everything. So how you going to say this is what needs to happen at Bilal School and not take it through 1 to 9 in all aspects? You want to put bricks on the ground, well, how much do bricks cost? And how many? You know, and I'm just saying in a very simplistic way, but yes, that's what must manifest. And when that does,